Hello everyone and welcome to Retail Archaeology. Today we'll be taking a look at Westfield Mission Valley Mall in San Diego, California. This mall opened in February of 1961, which makes it almost 59 years old. Let's take a quick look at the map here, and some anchors to note. There's an AMC movie theater here as well as a Target, and there used to be a Macy's, which is now closed, but there still is a Macy's furniture store. Now, I should mention that this is not a dead mall. There are some empty storefronts like this one you can see here, but it seems to be doing okay for the most part. And what I love about this mall is it's one of those malls in Southern California that opened in the late 50s, early 60s, and you can definitely see it in the structures and everything still. This mall does have 2 floors, however all of the shopping and dining is up at the ground level, and then there's a basement level that's all the parking and stuff like that. And from what I understand, the reason it was built this way is it's actually in a floodplain area, so the thinking was if there ever was a flood, the parking garage and all that would flood, but not the mall and the stores. This mall is currently owned by Unibail Rodamco Westfield, which, my gosh, is that a mouthful. It took me like 4 times to get that right during the recording. It was originally developed by May Centers Inc. though. Now, here's the Target, one of the anchors, but originally this was a Montgomery Ward store that opened with the mall in 1961. And next to it is a Forever 21 Red store. Doesn't seem to be very busy. Now I think this was a Johnny Rockets originally, and it looks like it closed fairly recently. Man, I love the brickwork though in the floor of this mall. That and the brick columns, and if you really just look at the bones of this mall, you really get a sense of that 1960s mall aesthetic, which I love that there seems to be a lot of still left in Southern California. The current owners actually filed paperwork in 2008 to get a major renovation approved for this mall. Thankfully, as of the filming of this in 2019, nothing's been done, so everything still pretty much looks the same as it has for a long time. There's a comics and stuff store on the right, and those are really neat stores. They have comic books obviously, but lots of other cool collectibles and little nerd trinkets and stuff. Now, I did explore this mall with my good buddy Ian Ferguson from the CU podcast. I always love checking out Southern California malls with him. You see what I mean though? If you just look straight down there and look at the columns and everything, it looks beautiful. I love this and all of the beautiful greenery and plants. I think Southern California has some of the best outdoor malls in the country. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this mall was originally developed by the May Company, and they had a store here when the mall opened, and eventually because of mergers and buyouts and all that stuff, it became a Macy's. And this is a shot of that building here, and this is actually kind of considered a somewhat famous piece of architecture. I don't know if famous is the right word, but well known. The city of San Diego did a study in 2015, and the building almost met enough criteria for qualification for the San Diego Resources Register. Unfortunately, they found that the original structure had been altered too much for it to still qualify. The last thing in that building was a Macy's, and it closed in 2017 when they closed 68 other stores throughout the country. I love that there's a Wetzel's Pretzels, Dairy Queen, and Orange Julius all right next to each other. That seems to be a fairly busy part of this mall. But as you can see, for a Saturday afternoon, it's not doing too bad. There's definitely clusters of people. But like I mentioned, there are kind of a good amount of closed storefronts as well. Not a ton, but enough to be concerning. Something else we noticed too is the areas that kind of have just your more traditional mall retailers, like there's a GameStop over there, things like Spencer's, Claire's. Those seem to be kind of the quieter parts of the mall. See, there's a GNC there, but not as many people walking around. And that's a little bit concerning to me. There's some more of your traditional mall retailers like Sunglasses Hut, and there's the Claire's. But people seem to be really more clustered around the places to eat, and then the movie theater, and some of the newer stores. And there's the Spencer's. So this place has pretty much, all of your traditional mall retailers that are still around. I just love those columns though and the way this mall is laid out. Now at first we thought this was empty, this building here, but this is actually something that's really kind of interesting. It's actually a charity that's using this spot, and it looks like they provide like homecoming and prom dresses and high school high school dance dresses to less fortunate girls, which I think is actually kind of neat. That's not something I ever really thought of before. Something I've noticed about malls in Southern California, at least, is a lot of them seem to have post offices. A lot of malls in the Phoenix area don't have that. Now, even though the Macy's is closed, there is still a Macy's home furniture store, which I've never been in one of these before, so I was kind of excited to check it out. And we filmed this in October of 2019, well before Halloween, and they already had a lot of their Christmas stuff out and everything. But I actually really wasn't impressed that much with this store. It's very bland, and like the type of ceiling tiles they have there, you can see they just look really dirty and dingy and old. And the furniture and stuff's just kind of eh. And I hate that they do this crap. So they put a price on something and then, oh, it's 50% off, and then you can take an additional 20% off, and they play these games, and I hate that. I just put the price on there. This building is still pretty neat inside too. I like the brick walls on either sides of the escalator, and I love the flooring down there on the bottom floor. That is very retro. I love that kind of aesthetic. I'm glad that I got a chance to check this place out before the next round of renovations were done here. It sounds like they planned on changing and updating a lot. Take a quick look here at the AMC Theater before we end the tour of this mall. Do you have any memories of shopping at Mission Valley Mall? I'd love to hear about them down in the comments below. I know I enjoyed my first trip here. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the first episode of Retail Archaeology for 2020. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also make sure to follow at the social media links down there because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the channel.